Okay, so now we want to talk about the last part, and that is on the monopolist competition. So what are the conditions under which you have monopolistic competition? What we see is that there are many buyers and sellers. Each firm in industry produces a differentiated product. There is free entry into and exit from the industry. What is the key difference between monopolistic competitive and perfectly competitive market is that the firms in the monopolistic competitive market, they produce slightly differentiated products. So what are some examples of that? Some examples of that is the fast food industry. You have players like McDonald's, Wendy's and Burger King. They produce products that are very similar but slightly different. So that's why they strive to differentiate their products. I think another example would be if you look at the cell phone business. You have AT&T, you have Verizon, we have T-Mobile, we have other smaller players, and what they try to do is that although they all sell you the same product, which is cell phone or cellular data and so on, they try to differentiate between themselves in different ways. Okay. So what is the implication? Products are close but not perfect substitutes, and therefore firms' demand curve is downward sloping under the monopolistic slide. Okay. So now here profit maximizing monopolistically competitive firm in action. So what do we see here? The determination of the profit maximizing price and product and output under monopolistic competition is same as a monopoly, and each firm produces at where marginal revenue equals marginal cost, and here the firm's profits are given by the shaded region. Okay, the main difference between the monopolistic competition and a monopoly is that the demand and marginal revenue curves used to determine the price and output are based upon the individual firm's product and not on the market demand curve. So here, we have not the aggregate market demand, but we have the price and output are based upon the individual firm's product. Okay. Now, what is the profit maximizing rule? To maximizing profits, a monopolistic competitive firm produces where the marginal revenue equals marginal cost, and the profit maximizing price is the maximum price per unit that consumers are willing to pay for the profit maximizing level of output. And here the profit maximizing output Q star is such that marginal revenue of Q star is equal to marginal cost, and the profit maximizing price is P star equals PQ star. Okay, so here when long run equilibrium, if firms in monopolistic competitive markets earn short run profits, what we'll find is that additional firms will enter in the long run to capture some of these profits, which basically means that the profits of that industry will go down. And if there are losses as far as the industry is concerned, what we can see is that some firms will exit the industry in the long run. Okay. So here it looks at the entry in monopolistic competitive market in action. Suppose that a monopolistic competitive firm that sells brand X faces the initial demand curve D0 as shown here. At this point, the firm has positive economic profits, and when more firms enter the industry, the demand for the monopolistic competitive firm's products will decrease since some customers shift to the new product, and firms will continue entering the industry until the demand curve shifts to D1 and firms in industry earn zero economic profits. Okay. So the figure shows what happens in the long run. Each firm earns zero economic profits and charges a price that exceeds the marginal cost of production. Hence here, price has to be greater than the marginal cost, and P equals the average total cost. Okay. So what are some of the implications of the product differentiation? What we find here is that the differentiated nature of products in monopoly competitive firms implies that firms have to consistently convince their customers that their products are different and perhaps better than their competitors, or they could be cheaper. And here two strategies they use to persuade consumers are: one is comparative advertising and the second is niche marketing. So these are two strategies they have. And what is the optimal advertising decisions, given that they spend quite a bit of money on advertising? So here it depends upon the nature of the industry, and it depends upon the optimal amount of advertising balances the marginal benefits and marginal cost. So here the profit maximizing advertising to sales ratio is given by A by R, where A is the advertising expenses and R is the dollar value of sales. So that is given by EQA is the advertising elasticity of demand, and EQP is the own price elasticity of demand. So here, to conclude, basically what we find is that we want to compare the three cases. The first is firms operating in a perfectly competitive market take the market price as given and produce the output where price is equal to marginal cost, and firms may earn profits or losses in the short run, but in the long run entry or exit forces economic profits to zero. That's what we see here. And a monopoly firm, in contrast, will earn persistent profits provided that the source of monopoly power is not eliminated. So that is how they set the pricing. And what about the last one? A monopolistic competitive firm can earn profits in the short run, but entry by competing brands will erode these profits in the long run. So what we find is that initially, they will earn profits, but after some time other firms will get into the market to capture